Hello toy fans, I'm here with another one of our Sea Quest DSV toys by Playmates. Now, we've already looked at Darwin, we looked at Lieutenant O'Neill. Now it's time for us to look into the commanding officer sort of end of the spectrum. And we need to take a look at Commander Jonathan Devin Ford, played by Don Franklin. Now, this is a really cool one. The first one that we get that actually has a spring-loaded weapon in it. And I cannot wait to find out how this one's going to stack up with the others. One thing I'm going to say right out of the get-go that I noticed is that this has quite a bit of stuff to it. And I don't think he's going to be able to carry all of it, which usually breaks one of, my best friend Jeff's rules about having more accessories than you can handle. But in keeping in line with what Playmates was doing with Star Trek, it's kind of on par. It makes sense, and it's not something that's completely unexpected. I think we just kind of got lucky with a few of the pieces so far. Now, Commander Jonathan Devin Ford actually comes on our SeaQuest card. We get SeaQuest at the top, a picture of SeaQuest, and then down here we get an open bubble with all of the accessories and Commander Ford there. We do get a UEO picture over here of Don Franklin as Commander Ford, and then we get a list of everything that comes into the pack. Now this one boasts a spring-powered away team launcher, so I can't wait to see what that one's gonna be like. Let's head to the back. Now on the back we got, of course, our years 2018, which we've talked about before. Now this package here is a little beat up. The card had a hole punched in it, and it's seen better days. It's pretty worn down. So this one, I'm okay with taking off a card. We get our cross-sell art of all of our figures: Captain Bridger, Ford, Darwin, which we've already looked at, Lucas, Hitchcock, Regulator, Dr. Z, O'Neill, which we've already talked about, and Chief Crocker. Now, Commander Ford comes with the United Earth Oceans gear. He comes with his PAL, so personal audio link. He also comes with a stun gun, the CPOC, which is the personal onboard computer, and we've looked at this. These are actually pretty cool for what we're getting. We also had that spring-powered away team launcher with signal flare. So this one comes with a signal flare, and it's distress or send out a warning. We also get that display stand, and then we get a manta ray with him, and it says manta rays make their home in warm seas. These giant relatives of stingrays fly through the ocean water by flapping their wing-like fins. Mantas are peaceful predators who feed on swarms of plankton and schools of small fishes. Very nice. So we get a manta ray with this one. At the bottom we get our file card here for Jonathan Devin Ford. We know he's a commander, and we get all of our extra stuff here about him. Now that's Commander Ford on card, and really there's nothing else that we're going to learn from this card. We need to get this one out and get to exploring. And straight out of the package, this is what we get for Commander Jonathan Devin Ford. We get, of course, Commander Ford here. We get a stand. We get the communicator, which is the PAL. We get the stun gun, and then we get the CPAC, along with a manta ray, the spring-powered away team launcher, and that distress signal launcher as well. So we get all of this in that one package. Now, much like a lot of the figures so far, especially because I believe so far they all come with this PAL, and there's nothing different from what we've had before. This PAL is pretty standard, and it's the same thing casted in that orange plastic. We do have that stun gun as well. Also, nothing new. The only character, like we saw this with O'Neill, but we didn't see it with Darwin. That's okay, because Darwin didn't need it. But casted in black plastic, and it's got a lot of good detail on it. Now, much like O'Neill's POC, we're getting the same thing with this CPOC as well, where it is black plastic and it has its stickers. It has a hinge screen that folds up, and then you can fold these two keyboards out in order to you know, make it seem like readable. Now, the new things that we get here, of course, we get this Keshi style stingray. And this thing it's got some like plastic pox at this point, because I think that this package might have been up in an attic or a storage unit, so it's got some dots in there. It's looking kind of bad, and the plastic smells kind of weird, but like mildewy. But this thing, it's Keshi, and so it has its wings. It's kind of flappy, and it's to scale with the humans, honestly, which I dig. Again, you know, this is something that Darwin can swim around and check out. Now, before we get to Commander 4, we do have that signaling buoy, and we do have that spring-powered away team launcher. And something I want to bring up with that launcher, it is very similar in style, to the stun gun. So we're getting a lot of the same handle work. So how they hold it in, how they hold the stun gun, this will probably hold about the same. Now, this does click into place. It does have a firing mechanism that fires right there. And something to keep in mind is it's got a lot of stem here, like it's some sort of like harpoon. Let's see, Commander 4 can hold it in his hand. It might actually hold better in this hand. Yeah. Holds pretty well in his hands, and might be able to get the second hand on there. It's maybe not. Well, at least make it look that way. Last but not least, Commander 4 also comes with that stand. And, you know, much like when we looked at O'Neill's, we had the same triangle with the shark, same with Darwin. This time it says Ford on it, but much like O'Neill's, you flip it over and you got his insignia ranking. That is the same as the insignia ranking on his shoulder. So we can tell that this one belongs to him just by looking at the bottom. Now, Commander Ford has some different sculpting that we haven't seen. For the most part, the arms are kind of the same. There's not a lot of change in it. I know that the hand sculpts are a little bit different. This arm seems to stand out more than this arm over here. And the torso, even though it's similar to O'Neill's, this one is kind of zipped down to show more of the collar. So with that, we're getting new sculpting in here, and then within here in the head, the legs are pretty much the same. So crotch and legs are going to be the same as O'Neill's. And for Commander Ford, we get, of course, that swivel head. We get a swivel waist. We get that hinged, or the swivel shoulders, along with the bicep cut and the hinged elbows. Same on this side. We get the swivel hips, along with the hinged knees, and the swivel thigh cut here as well. That allows him to sit and take different positions. And a lot of the pictures I've seen of some of the like the Stinger and some of the subs and stuff actually have Ford in it. So I'm glad to have him out. He does a lot of piloting. Kind of makes me wish that we would have had those subs. Now, as far as weapons and stuff, I know that this holds in his hand fairly well on this side. Not so much on this side. For some reason, this side does not want to hold. His pal here holds okay on this hand. Holds better on this one. So far, this hand's kind of a weird one. It doesn't feel like it holds anything like it's supposed to. On this one, it does, however. He does hold his Sea Pock actually fairly well. Well, I say that, and then I take it apart. And then the stun gun. Oops, maybe it'd help if I put the hand on in his hand correctly. that one feels like it would be better off in this hand, like he's a lefty. And he might actually be a lefty. Now let's get him on his base here. Oh goodness. Ah, there we go. Got him on there. And we'll fix this thing over here. His POC. And we'll put it with it. Yeah, one of the things I've noticed with him, he's got a lot more accessories than he does ability to hold things. So like whereas O'Neill, we kind of got away with a backpack that we could stow everything in. This one, not quite so much. Now, all in all, I'm actually very happy with Commander Ford here. I think that he is an excellent looking figure. I think that he looks the part of looking like Don Franklin as it is. The hand is a little weary and kind of bothers me a little bit, not being able to hold things, and that I don't understand why that's set that way. But that might be one of those where I use that for either holding the other end of the launcher or maybe just holding the CPOC. It's kind of iffy for me on that hand on if I really like it. And I think that could have been something easily fixed by just bringing the thumb down and more in order to grip things. But other than that, the figure looks amazing. And I really like having Commander Ford here because him and Bridger both being commanding officers of the Sea Quest, I want to have them both in the collection so that way they could, really focus on heading a command team. Now, I really do like the fact that they went ahead and did his zipper, kind of pulled down a little bit, even though that feels more like how he wore it with Give Me Liberty, the episode where it was more down because he was hot, because he was sick. For the most part, he does wear it a little bit further down than everyone else, and not all the way up to the top. I love the fact that the coloration on this, the blue on the badges look amazing. It is a really good figure all in all. And the launcher itself is actually pretty cool. And I know that's going to be kind of a generic launcher, but I believe every single character that has a launcher has a different type of firing projectile on the end. I like that he comes with a manta ray. I think that that's a really cool piece to have. And it's fun because now I can take a part from him and play with Darwin and other figures within the line. And again, makes me really wish that we'd have gotten some sort of workable sub or something where we could have had those underwater adventures, because I think at that point, like, even though the figures are great, we got a lot of really cool stuff, we kind of needed the adventure vehicle aspect of things in order to really feel like this line would have taken off and done something amazing. It did amazing for what it's doing, just not the type of amazing that we would have thought. And now all I can do is daydream about those awesome vehicles and then having Commander Ford fly them around. Now that's all I gotta say about Commander Ford. I think he's a really awesome figure, and I think he's a really cool piece to have in my SeaQuest DSV collection by Playmates. Remember that our DSV or our SeaQuest DSV episode for Talking Toys with Taylor Jeff comes out this coming Sunday on December 4th. You can check it out on marvindogmedia.com or even find the link on our Facebook page for Talking Toys with Taylor and Jeff. Now remember, they're not dolls, they're action figures. Action figures with authority. When I'm not recording videos here on YouTube, I'm actually over on a podcast on marvindogmedia.com called Talking Toys with Taylor and Jeff. It's a really cool toy podcast. Be sure to check it out. Also, I need your help getting my YouTube channel to grow. Be sure to subscribe down below with that big red button. Hit that bell for notifications so you can be alerted of anything that comes from me to you. Like this video, it helps YouTube know that you like what I'm making, and comment down below. I like chatting with you all.